What's up, friends? How's it going? Today we have a request from the community. So I built one of our new players a random Ochaco 2 starter deck just to get them going, and a couple members of my community had some requests. They're like, we got to see this, give us your thoughts. They really liked it, and I like it. It was a deck that, if you don't know who he is, don't worry about it, but Shane from UVS Games, he started me off with this when he started teaching me the game. He started me off with Ochaco 2 because I wanted to play aggro, and he was like, this is a great beginner aggro character that can also take you into advanced play and competitive play. And I really like to thank him for that. I never got the chance to, even though I thank him all the time, but I want to do it publicly. I want to thank him for taking the time to teach me the game and, you know, help me learn how to deck build and stuff like that. And great guy, love him to death. I don't tell him enough, but you know, I wouldn't be so deep into this game if it wasn't for him. But getting into it, so we're gonna cover Ochaco 2 specifically on death in this video, and this is gonna be more of a template guide of suggestions. I'm not going to give you a straight deck to play because not everybody has access to certain cards, or maybe your playstyle might be different from mine. Maybe you have different ideas than I do based off of what you have at your availability or what you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to give you just a list of cards to kind of get the brain going, get the gears turning, so that way you can come up with your own deck and your own strategy and just destroy people, because that's pretty much what she's all about. So let's get into Ochaco 2 stats. Uraraka is a 6 difficulty character, like most of them are. She has a 0 block modifier on mid. She has a 6 check, so if you play more than one character, that's great for this deck, for at least for the way I play. She has 5 card as a hand size, so 5 cards. It's a smaller hand. Because of that, she has 33 health, which gives her more health, so she can survive. 5 card hand size characters are a little difficult to play because you don't get a lot of access to cards off of your initial draw, but they do have a lot of cards that give them draw, which I'm going to give you some really cool tech. She has 3 abilities. The first ability is response. Once per turn. So once your turn, once on your rival's turn, even though it can't be used on your rival's turn, but it's just once per turn. It should say once per turn, your turn, but let's not get into that. After your non-throw attack deals damage, add it to your hand. So what that means is if you play an attack and it's not a throw, after it deals damage, you just add it back to your hand from the card pool, which frees up that slot. So you can play another attack. You can play the same attack or you can play another attack. It's up to you. Some people think they have to play that same attack again. It does not specify that you have to play it again. It's just bounce it to your hand, and the next attack you play, your next check to play an attack gets +2. So it gives you a little bit more leeway to kind of guarantee yourself that that attack will clear. Her next ability is Enhance. Commit this card. This attack gets -3 speed. So that is a defensive play. There are very rare instances in Death and Evil where you want to minus your own attack speed to activate an effect. Very, very rare. Like I said, very, very rare, but it is there, where some cards just combo off of your attacks getting a speed penalty, as it's called. Like I said, it's a very rare thing. I won't cover it. It's very complicated. That's super advanced play, and this is more of a beginner-friendly video. So let's get into the next effect. Enhance. This attack gets +2 speed. So she guarantees every attack you play will get +2 speed for free as long as she is not committed. All right, and let's get into this. So Ochaco 2, like I said, is a very fun character, very beginner friendly, very advanced friendly, very competitive friendly character, and you can do a lot of different things with her. So let's say, for example, you're just starting out and you just bought, let's say, the rival deck for My Hero Academia, and you're like, I don't know what to use. Well, you have Bakugo, because Bakugo has Fury attacks, and Bakugo's Fury attacks that come in his starter deck work with Ochaco 2 right off the bat. Blast Rush Turbo is a great card. It's a great finisher, gives itself a bunch of damage. It uses 1 momentum to give itself more. Like, the cool thing about this, let me read Blast Rush Turbo for a second. All right, so Blast Rush Turbo, it is a 5 difficulty, 4 speed, low attack, 3 check. It is a Fury attack, which is what I was just talking about. It has Enhance. Discard 1 momentum. After this attack gets +1 speed. Let me start this over. I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm sorry. Discard 1 momentum. This attack gets +1 damage for each Fury attack in your discard pile. So you discard a momentum, and for every Fury attack in your discard pile, it gets +1 damage. Great finisher, all right? Great finisher. You can end games with this card. Not enough people play it in Fury packages. All right, so the next ability says Enhance. If you have discarded a card from your card pool this combat phase, this attack gets +1 speed and +3 damage. Now, by discarded, it means you have sent a card from your card pool to the discard pile. Bakugo does have cards in his kit in that rival deck, the Midoriya versus Bakugo starter deck. He does have cards that help with this, that say discard a card from your card pool. So you don't have to really worry about that. There is a foundation that helps with it. But that +1 damage for each Fury attack in your discard pile is great because Bakugo plays all Fury attacks. And like I said, that's sort of like your first approach to easy, right out of the box. You get Bakugo's deck, you just take out Bakugo as the character, put in Ochaco 2, and it works. All right, so it's great for that. There's a lot of stuff that combos with it. You have starters, you have combo pieces. The combo pieces, let me get into because I've talked about this once before, but that was a long time ago. So Long Lasting Explosion would be your opener. And there are a couple more openers I'll get into later in this video. But for this sake, just using the starter deck right out the box, Long Lasting Explosion says Enhance. If the next attack you play this turn is a high or red attack, it gets +3 speed. +3 speed is great. If the next attack you play is a mid or orange attack, it gets +3 damage. All right. So let's say you play Long Lasting Explosion, you activate the effect sits there no matter what. So once you've activated the effect, it is just constantly on, waiting for your next attack. So if you bounce back Long Lasting Explosion with Ochaco's response to add it back to your hand, you can then play Long Lasting Explosion again. And because it is a mid attack, it'll give itself +3 damage. So that becomes a 5 speed mid for 9 damage. You activate the effect again because this is now a new instance of this card being played. And your next attack, which if you have it in your hand, you would want to have Monster Blast. All right, so Monster Blast, which is a mid, which then it would be a 4 speed mid for 7 damage. See where this is going? This is pretty cool, huh? It says Enhance. If the next attack you play this turn is a low attack, destroy 1 rival foundation. So what is a low attack? Well, a low attack is Blast Rush Turbo. So then Blast Rush Turbo, when you play it, you get to destroy a rival foundation and you get the cool effects of Blast Rush Turbo. So that's kind of like a 3 attack combo that you can play. You know, if you line up the cards, you can get it going, or you can, play something else depending on the situation. There are other attacks like Hauser Impact and Exploding Pride, which are low attacks that also come in the starter deck. But that said, it's just something that gives you direction, gives you focus. Or you could go the other route which is long-lasting explosion into point-blank incineration. So point-blank incineration has stun 1, which is pretty good on offense, committing one of your rival's cards. And then it has enhance. If the next attack you play this turn is a mid attack, it gets +3 speed. So you can do this with itself as well. So if this is your first attack, if this is your opener with Ochaco, it lands because they're like, oh, whatever, I have enough health, I don't need to block it. You can bounce it back and then play it again, and it's a 6 speed for 6 damage. And then you use that effect again, and you see where this is going. So it's like, then you play Monster Blast. Monster Blast is a 7 speed, 4 damage, and then you go into Blast Rush Turbo or whatever you want. You know, it's just cool stuff. The original starter deck also has draw, so Signature Right Swing is a good card for draw. 5-card hand size decks need draw because they want to draw more cards. The good thing about Signature Right Swing is that while it's in the card pool, you don't have to have 2 cards to discard in order to draw 2 cards. That's just a mechanic of the game. For some reason, attack cards ignore the cost. Don't know why. Still hasn't been explained yet, but attack cards ignore the cost. You just go for the effect. So that's just a free +2 cards to your hand if you don't have anything to discard. And there are things that you would want to discard, which we'll cover in Foundations that can go with it, like Aggressive Temper and Tutoring Kirishima. There are other cards you would want to send to the discard pile to draw and get bonus effects off of. All right, next we have Nomu attacks. Nomu attacks are really good. So getting into something a little bit more advanced, if you bought like a box of set 1, or if you just have them, or if you see someone with stuff for trade, Nomu is a 5 hand size character himself, so he gives you a lot of upside for being a 5 hand size character, just like Merciless Rush. Merciless Rush says, if your printed hand size is less than your rivals, which usually it is as a 5-card hand size, because most people play 6 or 7 hand size characters. So if your printed hand size is less than your rival's character, this gets -1 difficulty. So that 5 difficulty becomes a 4, which makes it easier to play. It also has the enhance of, if this attack is completely blocked, your rival destroys 1 foundation. So getting rid of their good resources. This text also right here, as you see, is not an enhance. It is not a response. It is in white text. So that is a passive ability, which means it is always in effect. It is always happening. As long as you have the ability to activate it, it is activated. And this is a punch and fury card, so you still get access to the fury package from the Bakugo set. As far as attacks go, I'm not going to cover like every single attack in the game for fury, but as far as attacks, let's get into like some notable attacks in each difficulty. So like I said before, if you have the Bakugo kit, you have access to Howitzer Impact. Howitzer Impact, even though it's a 6, it can also be a 4 difficulty because of its passive ability, which we just covered. So if you have destroyed a foundation this turn, this attack gets -2 to its difficulty. So destroying a foundation for any reason, Bakugo destroys foundations. This card also destroys foundations, but you would have to have used it first in order to play it again. So let's say you play it the first time, you destroy a foundation to give it +2 speed, you use Ochaco to give it another +2 speed, so it's at 8 speed for 6 damage, and then they don't block it, you bounce it back to your hand. Well, guess what? Now you're playing it as a 4 difficulty instead of a 6 difficulty the second time because you destroyed a foundation, right? Also, you have Gale Force Punch. Gale Force Punch is a great attack. It is a punch ranged. It is a 6 difficulty for 6 speed mid for 6 damage. It combos with fury attacks, so that's what you want to look for, but it has the big warning right here to check. So be careful when you play this, because if you're playing 3 difficulty foundations, or even just 6 difficulty attacks, if you're playing anything that's really big and you don't have a lot of foundations, be wary of that 6 check. So you probably don't want to play more than 2 of it, you know, just to be safe. You don't want to play more than 2, maybe 3, pushing it at max. But the reason why this card is great is because it has Enhance. If you have fewer foundations than your rival, destroy 1 rival foundation, which you're going to have fewer foundations because you're a 5-card hand size. The second effect is Enhance. Lose 3 health. Ochaco has 33 health, so you're perfectly fine. Lose 3 health. Your next Fury or Punch attack gets 5 damage. That plus 5 damage is amazing. I'm going to reset because I forgot it was limited to the first set. Because we have more 6 difficulty attacks than that. But getting back down to Gale Force Punch, as you see, there is a lot of 6s, but let's do Death. Getting back to Gale Force Punch, that next Fury or Punch attack getting plus 5 damage is key. So with Ochaco 2, you can make this a 8-speed mid for 6 damage. No one's really going to want to block that because they're going to give up a lot of resources, and then they know they're going to have to block something possibly bigger. That thing that's possibly bigger is Hulking Grimace, my favorite attack in this game. Hulking Grimace is another 6 difficulty attack, but it is a 3 check instead of a 2 check, which is nice. It is a 5-speed mid for 10 damage. If you play this after Gale Force Punch, that is a 15 damage. If you notice from what we said about the Bakugo starter deck, this is a great card to upgrade from if you have the Bakugo starter deck, because then if you have long-lasting explosion, this becomes 13 damage. You know, like there are ways to improve this. If you have Monstrous Blast, it gates plus 3 speed, so it'd be an 8-speed 10 damage. So there are ways to improve this. You have a lot of access to cards in the Fury package that give you just really good synergy. Getting into the effects of Hulking Grimace, Hulking Grimace has the response of, after your rival blocks this attack, seal their block. The reason why this is good is because some people like to play Breaker. Breaker is a defensive ability that kind of hurts you on offense, making stuff cost more when you play more cards for your next card. This just says no. If you have something that says, like, it doesn't affect when it's on block, this says no. So after they block with that card and they check to see if the check passes to play that block to resolve the block, then you go response, seal it, and turn it off, so they can't use their special effects on block. Great card. It also has the other ability of Enhance. If this attack is blocked, draw a card. Only playable if your printed hand size is 5 or less. El Chaco is 5 or less, so this is a free draw if they block it. Great card, like I said, great card. And they're going to want to block it, of course. It's 10 damage. You're trying to kill them. So you're trying to just massacre them. Next up, we have Pillar Swing, which is a great card for Ochaco 2. It is also an Ochaco 2 card, but it's a card that for her, it was a promo card. It has Stun 2. It's a 6 difficulty, 3 speed mid for 8 damage. 8 damage, just being big. As you see here, there's a theme: 8, 6, 6, 10, 7. You know, you see that 6 difficulty attacks are pretty big in death. 7, this one's really good too. You might want to play this one later. But anyway, just looking at what you have option wise, just hitting My Hero attacks, death, 6 difficulty here in UVS Ultra, something to help you mitigate through to find stuff. You have a lot of options here, all right? So the reason why I'm talking about Pillar Swing is because Pillar Swing has Stun 2 on it, and it also has the ability of, if this attack is completely blocked, add it to your momentum. So you automatically have momentum for other attacks or other abilities that we'll talk about later in the 5 difficulty slot. It also has the ability of, this attack's damage cannot be reduced below printed. So that would be the first thing you would want to do after playing this card, so that way they can't make it go below 8. So they're just stuck at 8. They can't use any damage penalty effects. They can't use anything to like flip it or reduce it or anything. It'll stay at 8 no matter what. All right. Moving on. Like I said, there's a lot of really good cards. I'll let you read them for yourself. Those are just some attacks I wanted to highlight in the 6 block. In the 5s, some things I will highlight. I'm not going to highlight everything because there are a lot of good attacks here. Like, there really are. Sudden Death Assault is a great one. Sudden Death Assault is a 5 difficulty, 3 speed mid for 5 damage. It also has powerful 3, so it gets more power if you discard cards from your momentum. For each card discarded, you get +3 damage, but its other effects are really good too. So its other effects are Enhance. If your rival tries to block this attack with a mid block, because this is a mid speed attack, their check to block gets -3. All right, so think of that as plus speed. Something I want to tell people, because they don't think about this enough. Death and Evil have a lot of effects that say minus check, or minus your rival's block, or minus your rival's check. Think of that as plus speed to your attack when that happens. So if you don't see the speed that you want, like say you find a lot of foundations that just say +1 speed or +2 speed, and you're like, I'm not really feeling that. I want something else. Having them get minus to their block is also plus speed, so keep that in mind. But if they try to block with a mid block, they get -3 to their check, which means it's harder to block, which means they're guaranteed to take that damage because it'll fail. So then they might want to partially block it so they still take some damage, right? The next ability says Enhance. Remove 2 momentum. Your rival loses 5 health. That's just period. Remove 2 momentum, your rival loses 5 health. That's not on attack, not on block, not when it does damage, not after it's done, not after it resolves, just period. The rival loses 5 health. All right, the rest of the effect is it cannot kill them. You cannot kill people with some burn effects in this game. So this effect cannot reduce their health below 1. And if you have Shigaraki as a character, hint, hint, wink, wink. If you have any Shigaraki as a character, you can remove this card after it resolves, meaning it clears itself from the card pool, freeing up that slot. All right, another card we'll talk about and highlight here is Sludge. So if you have momentum, Sludge can benefit you in a lot of ways. And its second effect can benefit you as well. We'll get into that in a second. So it is a 5 difficulty attack. It is a 4 speed low for 6 damage. If you notice, Death has really high damage. It wants to kill you fast. It is a Fury range attack, so it still connects with the Fury cards from the first Bakugo starter deck. And it has the ability of Enhance. If you have 1 or more momentum, this attack gains Stun 2. So you can stun 2 of your opponent's cards. The next Enhance says, ready 1 rival foundation, ready 1 of your foundations. All right, the reason why this effect is good, you might not think it's good, because you might think, why would I want to give them a foundation back? There is a card that this works very well with. Actually, there are 2 cards that this works well with. 2 of them are foundations. One of them I will show you really quick right now. It is a foundation from Toga called Enamored. So Enamored says response. After this foundation is readied during the enhanced step, this attack gets +1 or -1 speed. So you ready one of their foundations, you ready this, and you get +1 speed to your Sludge. All right. There's another one from Toga, which is, was it a 2 or a 3? Wait, it's a 3, sorry. It is a 3, which we'll get back into later, but I'm just gonna cover it now, just to talk about it since we're on this topic. It is Blood Evaluation. It says response, once per turn. After this foundation is ready due to an effect, draw 1 card. So you ready your rival's card with Sludge, you ready this card, and you get to draw a free card while you're on offense, which you possibly might get another attack or another foundation. So like I said, good upside for Sludge. Sludge is not really used too much And it's kind of sad because it actually does combo pretty well with the 2 Toga foundations that want to be readied. So if you're playing Toga and you need something to ready foundations, there you go. You got an attack that does that. Let me see. Anything else that's notable? Yes. Flamethrower. Flamethrower is pretty cool. I've won a couple games with this card. I try to fit it in where I can, but let's get into the stats. 5 difficulty, 3 speed mid for 5 damage. It is a charge, powerful 3, and range. So not with the Fury package. This is more just death overall for Ochaco 2. It has the first ability of Enhance. Discard the top card of your deck. This attack gets plus X speed. X is equal to the difficulty of the discarded card. So let's say you discard Hulking Grimace. It gets plus 6 speed. You know, if you discard something that's an attack, usually it's going to be 5 difficulty or 4 or 6 in Ochaco's case. So you're going to get a lot of speed for just discarding the top card of your deck. Like, it's crazy. You get a lot of upside, and then Ochaco can give it plus 2 speed herself. If you have momentum, you give it plus 3 damage for each momentum discarded. It is a really good card, and I don't see it enough as a finisher in death and even fire, to be honest. Flamethrower is a great card. Check it out if you have it. The other ability is Enhance. If this attack deals 5 or more damage, destroy 1 rival foundation. So it's going to get a lot of speed off of the top card of your deck. Generally, it's going to get a lot of speed. So if it's going to deal damage, it's probably going to deal 5 damage or more. They're probably not going to be able to block it, depending on when you play it. If you have Ochaco 2 and it hits the first one, then you play it again. And you play it again. And the cool thing is, you're going to get upside for doing it. So great attack. Like I said, great attack. I don't see it enough. It's pretty cool. Detonation Launcher is pretty good because it is a setup card, kind of like Long Lasting Explosion that we saw earlier in the Bakugo package. This is an upgrade for Bakugo. It has Enhance, Flip. Well, let me read the stats first. Sorry. It is a 5 difficulty, 4 speed low, 5 damage, Fury range with powerful 1. It has Enhance, flip 1 foundation face down, flip 1 of your foundations face down, not one of your rivals. If you're new, it means your foundations. If the next attack you play is a high or red attack, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. Free momentum, and we saw momentum was good, and this card has powerful. So if you play it again, you know, if you have momentum, you can do it again. You can use powerful. If the next attack you play is mid or orange, your rival flips 1 ready foundation face down. So that's really good setup potential for moving forward. Like I said, it's a good opener if you have the right build for it. There's another deck I'm going to cover with this card in it in another video, so keep that effect in mind looking forward. That one's more on Earth, but you can play it in Death as well for the next character I'm going to talk about. Hauser Impact is a great card. You'll see a lot of people use it as a finisher. It's something to look forward to. If you have it, you have it. If not, you can get it. Hauser Impact Cyclone is a 5 difficulty, 3 high for 6 damage. It is a Fury, powerful 3, slam, and it has combo Fury. So combo means that the card that is in front of it has to be a Fury attack in your card pool. It can't be a foundation. It can't be the last attack you played that's no longer in the card pool. The card in front of it has to be a Fury. That's what that combo Fury means. All right. So the combo Enhance, if the card in front of it is a Fury, says add the top card of your deck to your momentum for the powerful 3. Great card. It also has the Enhance of destroy 1 of your foundations. So destroy 1 foundation, draw 1 card for each of your momentum. So if you have 2, 3, 4 momentum, you're going to draw a card. So you want to use that combo effect. This is for the Fury package. You want to use the combo ability to add a card to your momentum, draw a bunch of cards off of that, and then discard that momentum for damage right afterward. Great sequence of abilities, great synergy. Was it this card? This is the card I was talking about earlier that wants to receive a speed penalty. But this is only if you're playing Mineta. So if you want to side deck into Mineta from Ochaco on death and not really have to change anything, this is something that you could do. It has Mineta Enhance. This attack gets +2 damage and gains throw. Only playable if this attack speed is below printed. So if you have Surviving the Finals, which is a foundation of Mineta's, you could give this -1 speed and then give it +2 damage and turn it into a throw. That's the only time you would really want to give yourself a -speed ability with one of your own foundations. But if your rival does, which after reading it they won't want to, so you can just use it on yourself, minus yourself 1 speed, turn into a throw, make it guaranteed damage and increase its damage, and then use Ochaco and give it +2 speed, so it's at 5. So it's a 5 speed, 8 damage. It is also a Fury attack with stun 1, which is pretty good because it goes with the Fury package. Mineta has a lot of good Fury attacks that are unsuspecting in the death tree, which can catch people off guard, so that's pretty fun. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff here, going back to the Bakugo stuff, the Nomu stuff. There are other great cards in death. There's a lot for you to look at here in the 5 difficulty card slots. Moving on to the forest. I don't want to make this video like 4 hours long. Some cards to note. I would definitely say look at Red Gauntlet. It's only because you can use it in certain ways. It's more of an advanced card once you get up there. But it has the stats of, it's a 4 difficulty, 3 speed, low for 4 damage. It has flash, which means you cannot use enhance abilities during this card after it's played. It is a Fury, so it combos with other Fury cards, and it has the response, destroy 1 foundation. After this attack deals damage, your rival destroys 2 face down foundations. So we already saw cards in death that wants to flip cards face down, and we saw cards that want to destroy your rival's cards. So this could be something really techy where it really helps. There are a lot of ways to use this, a lot of combos with a couple foundations like Tutoring Kirishima, or even if you're playing Bakugo yourself, you could destroy, what's that foundation? I think it's Aggressive Temper or something like that. I'll get into the foundations later. But where you destroy the foundation, as long as you have Bakugo, you can respond, and then your opponent loses 2 health. So there's like a lot of combo synergy with death with other cards. Like I said, it's a good card, but that's more advanced. Moving into more beginner friendly stuff. Let me see, something to note. Ooh, Stun Grenade is a good card for beginners if you can get it. It's a great card. It is a 4 difficulty, 4 speed for 4 damage. It has stun 1. It also has powerful 2. And its first enhance says this attack gets +1 to its stun rating for each attack that has left your card pool this turn. So this one says left your card pool instead of discarded from your card pool like Blast Rush Turbo does. So the reason for that is if you have bounced a card back from your card pool with Ochaco, that still counts as a card leaving your card pool this turn. So let's say you play Long Lasting Explosion. It's the first thing I can think of. Long Lasting Explosion, it deals damage. You give your next mid attack +3 damage. You use Ochaco, you bounce Long Lasting Explosion back to your hand. You play Long Lasting Explosion again, giving itself +3 damage. So it's a 5 speed mid for 9 damage. You activate its ability. The next attack you play is Stun Grenade. Stun Grenade will be a 4 speed for 7 damage. And because 1 attack left your card pool this turn, you can activate this enhance, increasing your stun rating to stun 2 and making it powerful not powerful 3. What am I talking about? You increase it to stun 2. Sorry, I don't know why I thought powerful 3. But yeah, you increase the stun 2 cards. So the next enhance is enhance, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 fury attack revealed this way to your hand, discard the remaining cards. So with this card, you look at the top, you reveal to your opponent the top 3 cards of your deck, you add a fury to your hand so that way you can play it next turn. The reason why the discard part is good, some people look at that as a negative. Bakugo has a lot of cards that has, if this card enters the discard pile this turn or during this enhance, or like during this turn in general, during the combat phase, then do this. So if those foundations are there, like tutoring Kirishima, aggressive temper, arrogant disposition. Is it arrogant disposition? No, arrogant disposition is the 1 check. I forgot what it's called. We'll get to it in the 2 checks, but there are other foundations that say when they enter the discard pile, do this. So you get to either give your attack +2 damage, or you burn your opponent for 2 health, or you can flip a opponent's foundation face down. So he has a lot of upside for cards going to the discard pile. Another good card, probably one of the last ones we'll look at, because there's a bunch of stuff here for you to go through, is Twisting Azure Inferno. Twisting Azure Inferno is a charged range. It is a 4 difficulty, 4 speed, mid for 4 damage, so you would not be using this with the Fury package. But it has the enhance of, if this attack's damage is 7 or greater, for the rest of the turn, your checks get +1, and your rival's checks get -1. So think of that as your checks get +1, making them easier to play, and then all of your attacks get +1 speed on top of that. So it's easier to play cards, and they get +1 speed. Remember, -1 to their block, think of that as +1 speed to your attacks. It also has the response of, after you play an action, this attack gets +2 damage. We're not going to cover actions, that's up to you, but just know that it is there as an option. This is a great card to have. You can play it after Long Lasting Explosion, because Long Lasting Explosion does not say your next Fury attack, it says your next attack, if it's a high or a mid, and this is a mid, so you can use it with that, and then it'll be 7 damage. Another card, if you have it, this will be the last one I'll talk about for the 4 sections, for the 4 difficulties, is Villainous Waylay. Now, this is a dangerous card to play because it is a 2 check, just like Gale Force Punch. But Villainous Waylay is a 4 difficulty, 4 speed, mid for 5 damage. It is a Fury attack, and it has 1 ability, which is Enhance. Name a block zone. Your rival must discard a card with a named block zone. I'm going with the named block zone, not a name, but with the named block zone. So whatever you called, let's say you called mid because you want this to deal damage, right? And you got a bunch of mid attacks in your hand. You play Villainous Waylay, you call mid block, and they have to discard a mid block, guaranteeing that you will probably do damage for the rest of the turn. If they cannot discard the block zone named, they reveal their hand. So if they don't have a mid block, you get to look at their hand for free and go, oh, you don't have a mid block. What else do you have? Oh, you have a high block, you have a low block, or you have all low blocks. Oh my goodness, I have a high attack in my hand. So you get to see what they have so you can formulate the rest of your attack package for the rest of the turn. Great card to have, especially if you're in these elements. Just note that it is a 2 check, so that makes it a little dangerous to play. Next, we'll get into the foundations. So starting with 3 difficulty foundations, we're going to talk about Blood Evaluation a little bit, because this video is getting long. I don't want to cover too much, like I said before. But Blood Evaluation, we talked about it earlier. If you use it with Sludge, you can get a free card to draw off of. Plus, it also readies itself. It has the ability of Enhance, discard 1 momentum, ready this card on... getting tongue-tied. Enhance, discard 1 momentum, ready this card. comma, pause. Or flip one rival momentum. So if your rival is playing cards like Sun Eater, Amajiki, if you're going against Amajiki and they need those momentum cards to be face up, she says, nah, bruh, flip it face down. Face down that momentum right there. I don't want you using that effect. Or if you're playing someone like Dinky or someone that's using air, most likely air or chaos, they have a lot of cards in their momentum that want to be face up because they get extra effects. She says flip it face down. Or you can ready itself. It's also playable while committed. So yeah, and it doesn't say once per turn, so keep that in mind. This is not a once per turn effect. This is not a once per turn effect. Keep that in mind. So if you ready it with Sludge, you can still commit it again for another effect if something says commit one foundation, or if you need to pass another check, and then you can use a momentum to ready it again and get a plus effect because it's playable while committed on the enhance. Another great card in the 3s is Excited for Blood. This is your main source of draw and gaining life. If you don't want to play Sludge, definitely use Excited for Blood if you have it, if you can get it. It says response, flip this card face down. After your rival loses health, gain 4 health. So you gain 4 health for them losing health, whether if it's an attack or an effect like Gas Cloud or Sudden Death Assault. There are other cards that hit your opponent for damage. It has the other effect of response. Once per turn, lose 2 health. You lose 2 health. After your rival loses health, draw a card. All right. So you mostly do these in reverse order. So you would do the second effect first. After they lose health, you lose health, draw a card, and then use it, flip it face down, gain 4 health to get that health back. But there are other cards that combo with it, like Gas Cloud, which we'll get into in a moment. Another 3 check that I want to talk about because nobody plays it, which is sad, which is capabilities. It comes in the Bakugo starter deck. It is a great card for momentum if you don't want to use momentum for powerful or EX. It has enhance, commit, discard 1 momentum. Your fury attack gets +2 speed and +5 damage. So if you have momentum, you play Gale Force Punch. You give your next fury attack +5 damage. You bounce that Gale Force Punch back to your hand. You play Hulking Grimace. Hulking Grimace comes in as a 5-speed mid for 15 damage. You commit capabilities, discard a momentum, and now Hulking Grimace is a 7-speed 20 damage attack. You give it +2 speed from Ochaco 2. It is a 9-speed 20 damage attack. Okay, like you see where this is going here, right? Like you just make people cry. That's what death is all about, making people cry and having fun in the process. Moving on, some cards to note here. Like I said, there's a lot to go through. I'm not going to go through everything, but Learning to Harden is a good card that I would like to point out for the community just in general. More specifically on Death and Earth as a card. Great card. The reason why, and it has enhance, commit. This attack gets it's -2 speed or +2 damage. Sorry. The +2 damage is really good when you have a card like Brute Strength. Brute Strength, I'll get into in a second. If you're a veteran and you already know this, you know where this is going. But Learning to Harden combos really great with that, and it's a card that gives you draw. So Ochaco has death in her symbol, so you can use this response. So does Bakugo, so does Nomu. Death response. After this card is destroyed, draw a card. So you commit it, give your attack +2 damage, destroy it with Brute Strength. It gets +1 damage, and you get to draw a card. Great card to have. Don't see it enough, unfortunately, in cards that in characters that have death on their symbol if they're playing a death deck. Just a way, like I said, just a way to get free draw, plus damage, plus damage. It's just, or minus speed and draw one. You know, there are other cards that destroy a foundation for something. You know, you commit it, -2 to their speed, destroy it, draw a card. So just something I wanted to point out. Moving on, let me see. Another card is Stalking Her Prey. With Ochaco, you're going to want defensive foundations. Stalking Her Prey is a great defensive foundation. Ochaco 3 gives -3 speed. So does Stalking Her Prey. It has response. Flip this card face down. After your rival increases the speed of their attack, it gets -3 speed. -3 speed is very good on defense, so this is a great card to have. The other enhance is for if you're playing Toga only, so if you want to play Toga as a backup character, you can. There are other good cards like In Control and Mastermind's Apprentice. Like I said, read through this stuff. There's a lot of good cards. As far as losing health, bench press can help with that. It's another combo piece where it says enhance. If you have lost health this turn, your attack gets plus damage. So where would you lose health from? You would lose health from Excited for Blood. You would lose health from Gale Force Punch. You know, these make you pay to gain stuff. So if you pay to gain, this is just something that it's like, oh, I lost health this turn from drawing a card off of Excited for Blood. Okay, my attack gets +1 damage as a bonus, you know. And then you can gain 2 health if your attack does damage. So it's just, you know, if you want to gain health, if you want to stay alive, it's just something, it's just a little add-on. It's not something that's mandatory. Self-Propulsion, great card. Self-Propulsion is a response to the Fury package, or if you're playing something with combo or has powerful. So combo, Fury, and or powerful attacks, if they deal damage, add this card to your momentum. So you get free momentum just for dealing damage. It does not specify that it has to be a non-throw. So as we saw earlier with the Mineta attack, where it gives itself throw, and Death does have a couple throw attacks. It was a Fury, it was a throw, it guarantees to do damage, and it also draws you a card, to be honest. That Mineta attack is great. What was it, Sticky Ball Rush? I think it was. You get free momentum off of that, which then you can use for other stuff. Tutoring Kirishima was a card I was talking about earlier, with cards that want to go into the discard pile. So Tutoring Kirishima has the response of remove itself from the discard pile. After this card enters the discard pile during the enhance step, your rival flips 1 foundation. That can be committed or it can be readied. Just this card going to the discard pile during your enhance step or during your rival's enhance step is great. How can it get there? You can destroy it from your stage with cards like Brute Strength, which I was talking about earlier. You can use Signature Right Swing to discard it from your hand. If your opponent is playing Shigaraki 3 and they have the making you check effect, like Mastermind's Apprentice, where it says your rival makes a check against the 6. Shigaraki 3 likes to do that as a character, and most of his cards will do that too. He has attacks that does that. So if your rival makes you check, and guess what? If you check and the check is Tutoring Kirishima because it entered the discard pile during the enhance step, it activates. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. A lot of ways to get it there to give you an advantage strategically. Since I've talked about 6 checks, something to help you with that is League Interview. First form, the first thing you have to do at your turn after you draw a card, after you draw your cards, before you play a card, first form, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Your next check gets +1. It helps when you're playing 6 difficulty attacks, and it is a 6 check, so having 4 of these in your deck is going to help you out a lot. Spooky is a great card on defense to switch the speed and damage of your rival's attack. So let's say they have an attack that is 3 speed, 6 damage, and they give it powerful 6, and you're like, haha, I give it -3 speed, so it's at 0. Then you use Spooky and you flip it, so it has, let's say, 8 damage, 0 speed. It'll turn into 0 damage, 8 speed, because it flips them over. And there's a bunch of other good cards. Like I said, Aggressive Temper, which is a card I said I was going to talk about. It wants to go into the discard pile. If it enters your discard pile during the enhanced step, your attack gets +2 damage. Agitation can draw you a card after your Fury attack is blocked. Burst Speed is what I was thinking of. It's a Bakugo response only, so this is only if you're playing Bakugo, but if you play Bakugo as your side character or your backup character, after this card enters your discard pile during your attack's enhanced step, your rival loses 2 health. You have Encouragement. Encouragement is after your unblocked attack resolves, discard it from your card pool. This is something what I was talking about if you're playing the Bakugo starter deck with Ochaco 2. Encouragement will discard a card, so Blast Rush Turbo will activate. Latent Skill draws you cards. Apathetic, like a lot of great cards. Brute Strength, which is what I was talking about earlier. It allows you to destroy one of your own foundations and gives you +1 damage. The +1 damage is an added effect. Don't think of it as something you have to do. Think of the destroy 1 foundation as what you want to do. You want to destroy 1 foundation or lose 1 health if you want to combo with stuff. But destroy 1 foundation being that Burst Speed or Aggressive Temper or Tutoring Kirishima. You're destroying a foundation and you're getting an extra damage on top of it, right? So it's just complementing what you want to do. And there's a lot of cards here that can help you with stuff. Getting close to the end of this. The 1 difficulties, your spam. Red Riot's the coolest, is pretty good for +2 damage. You flip it face down, it's playable while committed. Gas Cloud. Gas Cloud is a great card that you want to pair with Excited for Blood. So if you have Excited for Blood, put Gas Cloud with it, because Gas Cloud says response. After this card is committed due to your rival's non-character effect. So let's say they use Stun on their attack. They have an attack that says Stun. They say Stun 1, Stun 2. You're like, haha, I play Gas Cloud. So Gas Cloud gets committed by their effect. They lose 2 health. And when they lose 2 health, you use Excited for Blood and say, well, I'm going to -2 to my health, draw a card, and then flip it face down and get +4 health. So you gain 2 health, they lose 2 health off of them stunning you. Plus you got to draw a card for free. Great combination, great synergy. Snack Time is a good card if you want to give stuff stun 1. If, like I said, Furies have great stun. It also gives your attacks +1 speed. Think of the stun 1 as the bonus. That's what you're going for. And of course, it discards a card. So Tutoring Kirishima, Burst Speed, Aggressive Temper, cards that you want to be discarded, right? You get +1 speed and stun 1 as a bonus for that. Let me see, anything else notable? Arrogant Disposition, -3 to a punch attack, which is good right now because a lot of people are playing punch packages. So this gives you great anti-meta synergy against the meta, where you're just like, hey, you're playing punches, haha, -3 speed. And it is a 6 check, so that's making it better for your 6 check, for your 6 difficulty attacks. Having more 6 checks is great. Let's Fight Bad Guys from the Bakugo starter as well. Your Fury attack gets +2 speed and you flip it face down. So last one for the 1s, and then I'll get into the 0s, and then I'll end the video after that. Villainous Entrance. Villainous Entrance is stun plus anti-stun, if that makes sense to you. Or counter stun, counter stun. Anyway, it has the enhance of commit this card, your Fury attack gains stun 1. So then you use stun 1, and let's say your opponent is playing good or all, and they have it can't be fixed on the field, and they go, haha, I can now activate it can't be fixed and build a card build the top card of my deck face down. You say, haha, not like that, but you say response. I flip villainous entrance face down. After your rival builds a foundation during the combat phase, commit it. Playable while committed. So you committed it to give your Fury attack stun 1. They build a card thinking that they got one on you. They're getting an advantage. And you say, well, commit it. You can't use it. So you can't use it to pass the checks on block. Great card to have. I don't see it enough in these elements of death, evil, and fire. If you're running a Fury package, this is a great card to have, especially in the current meta where everyone is playing It Can't Be Fixed on good and all this other stuff. There's a lot of stun hate, and there's a lot of cards that add to the stun hate. So getting into the zeros, Enamored, we talked about it before. If you're playing Sludge, you can ready this card to give your attack +1 speed. Just great synergy with Sludge overall. Surviving the Final, which is a card I mentioned with Sticky Ball Rush, or whatever the heck that card was from Moneta. I forgot already. It gives it -1 speed, so you can turn it into a throw and give it +2 damage, but it's also a great card on defense. It has Enhance. Once per turn, this attack gets -1 speed. If you use that with Ochaco's -3 speed, that's -4 speed, pretty much turning off somebody's attack, making it easy for you to block. In Danger comes from the Bakugo starter deck. If the damage that you're about to receive is higher than your health, use this effect. It says Enhance. Destroy this card. If this attack's damage is equal or greater than your current health, this attack gets -3 speed. So -3 speed, use Ochaco, -3 speed, that's -6 speed. You see where this is going. And that's all I'm going to talk about for now. There's a lot of stuff more, but it goes into more combos and more synergy. But read through the cards of what you have. I just wanted to highlight some things to give you from different packages. Fury package, from just overall death. We got some burn synergies if you want to use burn as a strategy for dealing damage. There's a lot of cards that can help you come up with different types of strategies and synergies. There's a great stun package in death. There's a great power package in death where you're just doing massive damage, as you saw before, the 6, the 8s, the 10s, the 20s. I taught you how to get Hulking Grimace up to 20 damage. There's a lot of things you can do with, flipping your rival's stuff face down, destroying rival foundations, committing their cards, gaining life. There's just so much you can do with death. Death is really underrated in this game. It doesn't see a lot of competitive play only because some people just want to play something safe, something that they already know. They don't want to take a chance with something that's not really popular. But I honestly think that death has great potential in the competitive scene. It has great potential in just advanced play overall, which is why Ochaco 2 is a favorite card amongst the community. So if you're looking into it, I'm sorry this video took an hour. It's just, I didn't even cover everything. But there's just so much you can do. If you get Shigaraki's cards, you've got more Fury and Stun and Burn. If you play Shigaraki 3's attacks, you can make your opponents semi-mill by making them check cards and then reducing their check on block to give your attacks more upside. There's just so many benefits and so much variety to playing death that it kind of becomes overwhelming figuring out where to play death and how to play death and what to lock an idea on. Or if you just want to go good stuff with death, you can't go wrong because a lot of death synergizes well, which is what I love about this game. The developers of this game, when they come up with cards, they come up with cards that just fit the element very well. and they know what this game wants to do. So when it comes to the element creation, Death wants to destroy rival foundations. Death wants to pay health to gain effects. Death wants to send stuff to the discard pile and remove stuff to get other effects. And they kind of just make it all work to where now that we're at a point where there's so many cards available that you can come up with so many awesome ideas, put them together, and just make something killer, right? So have fun with this. Do whatever you want, figure it out. But like I said, I gave you a lot of good cards to highlight to give you some ideas that can give you some incentive to playing Death and give you some structure. If you want to get back to looking at this video, definitely head to UVS Ultra. I'll have the link in the description of this video, so you can just click the link and start building your deck immediately, and then take that deck to your locals, take it to your store championship, take it to your regionals or your nationals, whatever you want to do. Just have fun. And remember, at the end of the day, this game is all about having fun and being creative. All right. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.